Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Oh, let's get juiced on a Monday, Bobby. They brought us back for another week, my man. Did you have a great weekend?
Always great, Thidoff. Always great. Weekends are always good. It's the best part of the day. I'm looking forward to Shark, where every day will be a weekend. Every day will be a Saturday for Mark the Shark coming up.
Bobby, I came in and I told Shark I was not happy about this. Not a good day today. And he asked me why. You look concerned, which I love that about Shark.
I thought maybe your wife died or something.
Right. Well, you're trying to get me to say something that's going to get me in trouble. No, you're trying.
You
I understand
so glum.
I understand what you're trying to do to the Shark, and I'm not going to fall for it, okay? I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not going to smile. I'm not going to make a joke. Nothing like that. And he asked me why, and I told him because Bobby now, he can, like when you say Shark, when do you retire? He said, next month. When's your last day? He can now say next month.
He retires. I said, what's it like to have 1 month left of working?
Yeah.
So I told him today when I walked in.
Anyway.
So I am incredibly excited for him.
Thanks,
because,
Bob.
well, I'm serious, Shark, because I want to know what it's going to be like to be able to get drunk on a Sunday afternoon without consequence. It sounds so amazing.
You don't think I'm not convinced the two of you don't already do that sometimes.
Well, I do, but you still I have to get up and go to work.
But you're
like this morning, my alarm went off, and my wife was like, "Hey, you've got to work." I'm like,
I'm not going to work. You've got to go work.
That sounds terrible. Go in here with these Yahtzees and do whatever and scream into a microphone.
You call us Yahtzees?
Well, I mean, sometimes.
I've never heard that phrase, Yahtzees, before. I like it. I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'm going to just pretend it's an affectionate term.
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
It's a term of endearment.
Did you ever roll over and say, Courtney, why don't you go to work today?
I've said that multiple times. I said that she always goes, "You look so miserable." I go, "Well, here's the deal."
Wait, now we can take it personally.
Why don't you do what I do, and I'll do what you do, and we'll see who's better at each job,
Yeah.
who can produce more, and who's happier doing each.
Wait. You think you'd be better at Courtney's job than Courtney is? I'm not trying to get you guys in a fight on the air at 6:04 on a Monday morning. But do you think, I'm being absolutely serious.
Do you think I could, the job of house manager?
Do you think you would do the job? I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but I'm saying, do you think you would do it better than Courtney?
I'm going to be honest with you, Thidoff.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many jobs in this world that I couldn't do better than probably the person doing them.
Wow. That's I don't know. I couldn't do.
It's real life.
I couldn't do.
That may be an unrealistic confidence that I have in myself.
Well, that's what athletes do.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
There's very few.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, there's a lot of things in this world that I can do at least pretty well.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know why I don't think that, hey, you give me a month to learn. I could do it. Now, would I want to do it? Would I have fun doing it? Those are two different things.
Right. Yes.
But could I do it better than the person executing it right now?
Yeah.
Probably so.
We are 59 days, Bob, until the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. We
are less than 31 days until the guy across from us walks on out of here.
I don't want to talk about that.
That's a positive
I know.
thing.
No, it's positive. For Mark Howell, it's a positive thing. For Mark the Shark, it's not a positive thing.
I don't know.
Mark the Shark dies.
I watched Cocoon. Wilford Brimley seemed pretty happy.
That's right. He found the fountain of youth.
Younger than
Where do you
me
think,
right now.
You probably didn't see that movie, did you?
I've heard about it,
Cocoon.
though. No, I've heard about it. I just heard there's a great thing with Tom Cruise at the end of it, right? Didn't he chase him through and then dies? Oh, that's The Firm. Go ahead.
The amazing thing is that Tom Cruise now is younger than Wilford Brimley was when
Brimley was like 48 in that movie.
Yeah.
But he looked 68.
Oh, yeah, he did. Diabetes is a hell of a drug. We are now 82 days until the first 4 college football games on a Saturday, Bobby. We are 89 days until OSU, Texas, and 94 days until the start of the NFL.
That's depressing.
Why is it depressing? It's
because
great.
we haven't even started summer yet.
Doesn't matter. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm excited.
Don't wish your life away, Tito. It goes too fast as it is.
Memorial tournament yesterday. Scottie Scheffler won his second straight Memorial tournament, picked up $4 million in prize money, third win in less than a month, Bob. And also, he's had 12 starts this year in 2025, calendar year 2025. 7 times been to the top 4. 11 times in the top 20, 11 of the 12. One time he finished 25th.
How many has he won?
He's won 3. 3 of the 12.
That is the percentage I care about.
That's pretty good. 3 in the last month,
He's won a fourth of them.
Yeah.
He's won a fourth of them. That's pretty darn good. I mean, he's playing really good golf right now.
Yes, he is.
And it was beautiful the last 2 days in Central Ohio, so good for him.
Reds lost the Cubs 7-3. Reds host the Brewers tonight at 7:10. No hat for me today, Shark, because the Reds coming off a loss there. Guardians beat the Angels 4-2. They're off today. They'll play at the Yankees starting on Tuesday. That'll be biggie for them. Sunday was the 100th anniversary of the start of Lou Gehrig's streak of 2,130 games. The streak ended on May 2nd, 1939.
What are you doing this date in history now?
No, I saw
think Bob might have that.
Okay, yes, he might have that. I'm just saying today. I didn't realize that yesterday was the day they wore patches on their uniforms for that.
Patches O'Houlihan?
Patches O'Houlihan. And even though today is the day, people who weren't playing on Monday, those teams were wearing the patches yesterday with number 4 on for Gehrig. Indiana and OKC play Game 1 Thursday NBA Finals. Florida Edmonton Game 1 Wednesday in the NHL. And I'm not going to do what I usually do, by the way. I ask you a question and then don't give you a chance to answer. Let's just hit it.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
All right, Bobby. Make us smarter, my man. I can't wait to see some of these things I didn't know.
Seemed very loud on the bump back right there. Louder than normal.
I was louder than that? I'm sorry.
No, not you.
Just the music.
The
Gotcha.
music.
It might have been. That's a Shark
Maybe
issue.
I'm getting older.
No, he's mailing it in.
Shark's been mailing it in for
care.
the last year.
I have not.
Listen, Mark Howell will be very happy on July 2nd. But I'm telling you, July 2nd, you may as well put the tombstone up for Mark the Shark. No, you'll still be Mark Howell. You'll be Mark Howell, regular citizen. You won't be Mark the Shark anymore. It will cease to exist.
All right.
I'm not happy about it either, Shark.
Still my email address. I'm not changing that.
Didn't say you were. I'm sure my grandma's got an email address still. R.I.P. Password's probably 1234 ABC.
Bob, what's going on this date?
Let's go. Okay, well, today on this date, Monday, June 2nd, 155th day of the, 153rd day of the year, 212 days remaining in this 2025. This date, 1896, Guglielmo Marconi applies for a patent on the wireless transistor, also known today as the radio.
Helps us.
There you go. This date, 1925, the New York Yankees, Lou Gehrig, starts his streak for 2,130 straight games. So there you go, Shark. How many straight years of that is playing?
14. But here's the amazing thing, Bob. You of course, replaced Wally Pipp.
Mm-hmm.
And
whatever happened to him?
The streak, 21-30, when he left the lineup, that was his last game.
Yeah, he never played after that.
He played. It wasn't his first game when the streak started. His first game in the major leagues. It was his first game of the streak. But yeah, when that streak ended, he never played again.
Ironically, on the day that he started the streak, 10 years later, Babe Ruth, in 1935, announced his retirement as a player. Not from the Yankees, from
Boston Braves.
There you go. That was my favorite part of
John Goodman.
The Babe with John Goodman playing for the Boston Braves.
Mm-hmm. He was Babe was pissed because the Yankees wouldn't let him be a player manager. He wanted to be a player manager for them, and they said no.
Because he was a drunk.
Well, I don't know if he's a drunk. He was a drunkard.
What's the
difference?
Drunkard.
I think drunkard gets drunk. I think a drunk is always drunk. Is that fair, Shark? You think or not?
Yeah, I don't think he was a drunk.
A drunkard.
He was a drunkard.
I think he drank.
Yes, he wasn't a drunk.
I think he was an alcoholic.
But this is all us right now, just enabling Babe Ruth right now to drink a lot.
Well, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to look for my own personal definition. In this.
Well, I think you get drunk, but I don't think you're an alcoholic yet.
Yeah, that's the key thing. I always tell people.
Right now, you're a drunkard, Bobby. Yeah. Okay, let's be fair.
There's always time to turn the corner.
There is time.
Oh, to turn one corner, one way or the other. I'm not sure. Like Yogi, if there's a fork in the road, take it. I'm not sure which way you go on it, but yes, you can.
Someone said if there's a beer in the road, take it.
That too.
Maybe for Babe. This day, 1942, Ted Williams, the Red Sox enlists as a U.S. aviator. He was a pilot there in World War II, a very good one, by the way. This day, 1953, the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. It was the first coronation of any British royal, which I'm not one of the big royals, and I didn't watch any of this nonsense of the weddings and all that, but it was the first one ever televised on national TV.
Throughout this memorable day, I have been uplifted and sustained by the knowledge that your thoughts and prayers were with me. The ceremonies you have seen today are ancient, but their spirit and their meaning shine through the ages. I have in sincerity pledged myself to your service, as so many of you are pledged to mine. Throughout all my life and with all my heart, I shall strive to be worthy of your trust.
Look,
I can't even imagine that when she started talking that was the same lady.
Yeah, her voice changed
from Naked
16
Gun.
years later.
Well, I mean, cigarettes and booze will do that to you.
She was a drunkard.
Hopefully.
Was
If I was
dead or alive?
she passed away.
Okay, look, I have popes and royalty.
Popes and royalty.
I have no idea. There could be a John Paul the XII. It can be Queen Elizabeth IV. It can be what? None of that stuff. Queen of Anne's, Queen of Shades. What? I have no idea on these things.
Queen of Anne's.
I don't
Queen
know.
of Shades.
I know more about the Kansas City Royals than I do about anything with royalty or popes. The numbers I can't keep track of. There's a Pius somewhere in there, the 12th or something. There's a Constantine. There's a Catherine of Aragon. I cannot.
Catherine of Aragon.
Bobby, can you really? Shark knows his presence. Could either of you, read a list on a piece of paper I gave it to you? Could you write down a list of in order queens or whatever in coronations and popes of what over there the Brits over there in London? Could you do that? Could you have any kind of confidence in this was when Queen Elizabeth? What was this? Queen of the coronation. Was she the first?
She was the queen for 70 years.
I understand that. Who was it right before her?
I don't know.
Her father.
Her dad.
Her dad was queen? That's
King.
a whole other subject.
He was
Okay, he was king. Okay, what was his name?
Freddie Mercury.
Okay, Freddie Mercury. After that, then who would it have been? But before that, that's all I'm saying. We don't know that stuff. And they have no power.
Elton John.
Elton John could have been one.
King George abdicated the throne so he could marry an American.
Okay.
And
Sounds like a great plan.
He didn't have.
How'd that work out for you?
He didn't have any kids, so nobody could.
So her brother, it was his
so
brother.
his brother
Okay.
took the throne, and then when he died, his daughter Elizabeth took the throne.
Yeah.
Where does UL Washington fit into all this?
UL Washington had a toothpick in his
Isn't that
mouth.
amazing? He played baseball with his toothpick in his
Yeah.
mouth. Shortstop, nonetheless.
Jeez.
Catch would be more impressive. Sorry, Bobby, I digress.
I don't care anything about that either, but she was queen for 70 years.
You knew she was dead.
The majority of
I
my
don't
life. She
know.
died,
You're
a couple
playing
years? She
stupid.
died
No, I'm
a year or
not.
two ago, Shark.
Yeah.
Diana was dead. I know that, but I don't know about the.
Oh,
She
jeez.
was never queen.
No, she never became queen
No.
because she got divorced from who is now the king.
Yes.
Chuck's the king.
Yeah.
Chuck is the king.
Stop it.
Well,
I'm turning your mic off now.
Chuck,
You're
I don't.
playing stupid.
No, I'm not.
You knew that Charles was the king.
Just show me now. They call him King Charles.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard him.
He was like a 74-year-old prince because his mom wouldn't refuse to die.
And when he dies, who will become king?
He's got a fight with some of his kids. I don't know. One of them would be
The first one.
the redhead or
First
the other one.
No, the other
Red-
one.
Is the redhead the one
Redhead.
who's over here now?
William.
Is that one of ours?
Yes.
One of ours.
He married an
They live in
American
Canada,
also.
dude.
They live in Canada. I didn't know that. I
Yes,
thought it
he's
was like
not-
Wisconsin.
No, he ain't American. He doesn't count. This thing, 1970 or 62. I Can't Stop Loving You by Ray Charles hits number one.
I can't stop loving you. I've made up my mind.
Van Halen, better version.
Oh, jeez. Tremendous. How about this, though? 4 years later, Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra hits number one.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances?
I'm at age I can pull that song off now, like in a bar. If I see someone across the room,
Strangers in the Night?
I think I can sing that and woo somebody.
I don't think that's the case.
I can woo.
That's a great song, though. And then this thing, 1979, Hot Stuff by Donna Summers. It's number one.
Talked about 1,000 numbers lately. Almost rang the
feel like that's more 80s than 70s, and the fact that
was it late 70s?
79.
Yeah,
it was the turning point.
Yeah,
I mean, they started turning from disco to that. It's got a little disco flair to it. And then 1985, one of my favorite songs of all time, "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears hits number 1.
Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Such a great one. You a fan of that, Sharky?
Yes, sir.
That's a good one. And then this day, 1997, Tim McVeigh is convicted for his role, the main role, in the Oklahoma City bombing.
Inside the second-floor courtroom, the Gulf War veteran sat expressionless as Judge Richard Mage read each of the 11 counts against McVeigh, and after each one, announced that the jury found him guilty. 3 U.S. Marshals were seated behind McVeigh as the jury's verdict was announced. McVeigh never made a sound and rarely looked at the jury.
Do you think he went into that verdict reading
Thinking he had a chance?
Yes. I'm just curious.
No.
Like, dude, they drove a fertilizer bomb into a state building. And I'm always wondering, like, when they square you up, regardless of whether or not you're guilty, do you feel like you would have a chance of getting out of there?
What year was that?
1997. The Oklahoma City bombing was 2 years.
93, I think.
So this verdict came out after OJ.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say OJ gave a lot of people hope. Like, if I'm McVeigh, I might be thinking, you know what?
You know what? That's the first time I've ever heard that theory. But Jeff, that might be one of your masterpiece theories. Is that OJ gave a lot of people hope?
He did. I think that
I'm being real with that. That might be one of your best takes ever. OJ gave a lot of people hope.
You can beat the rap blood. Doesn't matter. DNA. Oh, who cares? History of domestic violence.
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Right. Yeah. I'm saying yeah. So
Johnny Cochran,
genius,
changed the world.
Genius.
What's he up to, Thidoff?
I think he's with the Queen.
I think that's a great point. He is hanging with the Queen, maybe. Some birthdays today. Johnny Weissmuller, born on this date, 19.
Tarzan.
Look at you.
Tell him, dude, look, people take Mondays off, not this guy, Bobby.
Do you know they also had won 5 gold medals?
5 gold medals, yep.
In the Olympics as well. Born on this date, 1904.
Love Bo Derek.
This date, 1937. Sarah Kellerman was born.
Or Sally.
Sally, not Sarah. Sally Kellerman was born. Hot Lips off MASH.
When I put the rose in my hair like the Andalusian girls used. And how he kissed me under the Moorish wall, and I thought, well, as well him as another. And then I asked him with my eyes to ask again, yes. And then he asked me, would I yes to say yes? And first I put my arms around him, yes. And drew him down to me so he could feel my breasts all perfumed, yes. And his heart was going like mad, and yes, I said, yes, I wish, yes.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence. I think Joyce is pretty hot, too. And now that I've got your attention, I'd like to run down the reading list for the semester. See what else turns you on.
What a woman.
Dad, she is the teacher.
What was that off of, Shark?
What do your notes say there, Bob?
Back to school.
Was that from MASH?
No, it's back to school.
Not
But she sounds like the Queen. Look.
What was that from?
Back to school.
Back to school.
Back to school?
Yeah,
Okay.
with that's like it sounds like beautiful poetry until you realize that she's saying it. And Rodney Dangerfield's got this look on his face like he's doing something he shouldn't be doing or thinking about in the moment.
Well, I mean, she's a beautiful lady.
Was.
R.I.P. to her.
No,
R.I.P.
but she just didn't.
No, she's not.
Didn't age well.
She's not. No, she
She's
passed
dead?
away 3 years ago in 2022.
Definitely not pretty.
Gary Bettman's still alive. He is 73 years old today.
Who is he?
What you
He's
talking
the
about, Willis?
commissioner of the NHL.
Here's Commissioner Gary Bettman.
Boo.
Hello, Columbus.
Oh, God.
Hello, Ottawa. I love your passion. Merci pour la bienvenue.
That's bad
Good
French.
afternoon. I love your energy. Good evening, Philadelphia. Isn't this supposed to be the city of brotherly love?
What was that from?
I just took
There's a variety
a
of
lot
them,
of different
All the drafts
NHL
of just
drafts
everybody
in
booing
different
him?
cities.
Has there
Because
been
he kept saying hello to everyone. I'm like, that
did he
can't be
screw
the
that up?
same thing.
Like the John Kerry thing when he says something about football in Ohio up in Michigan.
Is there a commissioner that doesn't get booed?
No, what I'm saying, is there somebody who's...
Paul Tagliabue never got booed like that.
Yeah. And Adam Silver had a long honeymoon also. But Manfred gets booed every time he's introduced.
Sure.
Goodell gets booed.
Because if you're a D-bag, that's what's going to happen.
But if there's somebody, though, has there been a commissioner in sports that's been panned as much as he has been, Bettman, and held the job for this long?
Because he's been the commissioner for
long time.
Like 90 stroke.
Came from the
That's right.
NBA.
Yeah, that's right. He did. He was like Stern's right-hand man or something. So it's been a long time.
What's he up to?
Stern?
He's with the Queen.
He's with the Queen.
Hanging with the
He's with
Queen.
the Queen. That's what he's doing.
You know what, Shark? That's hanging with the Queen.
Hanging with the Queen now is going to be our thing for dead.
Yeah, hanging with the Queen.
Hanging with the Queen. What's he doing? He's out hanging with the Queen.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Gary Bettman turning 73. Dana Carvey. This crushed me, turning 70 years old today.
It's a feather in America's cap that we went from W to Obama because you couldn't think of, W's like, yeah. And he was a plain-spoken man. Remember when he famously said, we got evildoers. Clinton had a great phrase. Remember that one? I feel your pain. I do. I feel your pain. Now, Reagan, we're going back in a little time. Ronald Reagan was president in the 1980s for all you kids. Remember when he went to the Berlin Wall and he said, he was very plain-spoken. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That was very clear. Well, how you doing? Yeah, well, pretty good. How are you doing? Yeah, well, you.
That was pretty good at the end of, I guess, was that supposed to be,
Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart,
yeah.
His Jimmy Stewart's good. 70 years old, though. Gosh. I mean, what do you think him and Wayne are doing in that basement still?
Getting ready to visit the Queen.
Getting ready to visit.
I love when we stumble on genius.
That is comedic gold. Another funny guy, Wayne Brady, turning 53 today, and then some passings. Ironically,
here we go.
No, this is wild. Larry Allen passed away 1 year ago today, the Hall of Famer for the Dallas Cowboys. But Lou Gehrig, the day he started his streak, is the same day he passed away in 1941.
He lived exactly?
He started his streak.
Okay, the streak. I'm sorry. I think it's
25.
In 1925 and passed away in 41.
Wow.
Oh, do you want to hear some sound from him?
It's on the sheet.
This was on the 4th of July, 1939.
For the past 2 weeks, you've been reading about a bad brag. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
He died 2 years later of what is now called Lou Gehrig's disease.
So, did he play it all that year, Shark?
Yes, he
8
played
games.
in 41. He was at the end of 40. He was starting to lose his
He
strength.
didn't play in 41.
Or, I'm sorry, in 39.
Yeah, he played 8 games, I think it was.
Yeah, and then he couldn't tie his shoes.
But look, he's a liar.
What do you mean?
No, wait.
This guy.
We're
just going to pee on him as he's dying.
No, listen to me. Listen. Do you really think he considered himself the luckiest man on the face of the earth? I've got a disease that's going to kill me at the age of, I'm at late 30s.
He didn't know that, though.
They didn't know how bad it was going to get.
The doctor told his wife. She never told him that he was going to die from this.
I can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They hid it from
If you've
him.
got this disease, I can't believe you really think. Like if all of a sudden somebody said to me, hey, Tito, by the way.
Was he married to Marilyn Monroe?
No, DiMaggio was.
DiMaggio.
Yeah. No, Gehrig would have stuck around for Monroe.
They were only married like a year, and DiMaggio never remarried.
Never remarried. He just drank coffee and loved her.
Drank coffee, booze, everything else.
Drunkard.
Listen, being a ball player for the Yankees back in the day, he is the luckiest man in the world because you could do whatever it is you wanted to do.
Ryan Baker's got a great story about that.
The best news for Lou Gehrig is he never got to get old.
That's not great news.
No, that's true. We always will. It's like JFK.
Yeah.
Died young. We always have that image of JFK. He never had gray hair, or wrinkles, or anything.
It's like Roger Maris. Like, show me an old picture of Roger Maris. Those don't exist. Mickey Mantle got old as a drunkard and had to live in existence for the last 30 years just wanting to die.
I think JFK considered himself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I don't think he did.
I don't know.
He didn't know he was going to die, though.
But what the life he got to live was probably pretty good, at least from the biopics.
Marilyn Monroe.
The biopics that I've watched.
Marilyn Monroe, right? He's with the Queen.
She's a reoccurring character in a lot of these conversations. Also dead. Some holidays observances we have today. It is I Love My Dentist Day, which ironically I saw my hygienist yesterday. It's Jefferson Davis's birthday. It's a big day for you, Thidoff. You're a Confederate. That's, you know what? As Shark moves on from communism, you're going to be our Confederate champ. The guy who's driving the bus on the Confederacy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's National Gun Violence Awareness Day, Rocky Road Ice Cream Day, National Rotisserie Chicken Day as well. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date. Monday, June 2nd. The 153rd day of the year and 212 days remaining in this 2025.
Fantastic job, Bobby. Bill Bender joins us next. Morning Juice.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. Back my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Dangers rarely lie out in the open, so no matter where you live, it's important to know harmful pests can hide in and around your home.
Here I come!
Rodents and cockroaches are drawn to food waste and garbage.
I know you're out here.
Ticks lurk in tall grasses, and mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water.
I can hear you.
Rodents, ticks, and mosquitoes can all spread dangerous diseases.
I gotcha.
Seek the facts you need at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases, and RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you, and learn more at heart.org/RSV.
Tito has had 2 wives. They've both been named Heather. If you know someone named Heather, please warn her. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby, Shark. Bobby, Shark, Tito's probably the way we should go in that one. Now we are joined by Bill Bender for the Sporting News. Bill, hope you had a great weekend. We started off the show, and I mentioned that we are a mere 82 days from the start of the college football season with the 4 games on that Saturday and 89 games to Ohio State, Texas. Shark told me that I should be enjoying life more and not counting down those days. Are you counting down those days, looking forward to it? Or are you savoring the next 82 to 89 days?
Oh, I'm with Shark. I love college football, but you got to have some summer first, because once that first ball is kicked off, it's until January 20th. So you've got to enjoy the summer a little bit. And I like the summer because we're talking about college football and getting it excited and building up toward that game in Dublin between Kansas State and Iowa State. And that's a good season opener, because both of those teams are going to be ranked, and it's a key piece of the Big 12 race.
It's amazing you say that, Bill, because I'm with you. It's like everybody wants to fast forward. I go, I love the start of football season, but I want to enjoy the summer as much as possible. And we haven't really had any true feel of summer here yet in Central Ohio. Like, it's been sunny. We've had a lot of rain, but we haven't had a lot of heat yet. And I'm waiting for it to get a little hot here in the great Midwest.
I agree. I mean, it's been an unseasonably, cold and wet kind of spring. I'm wondering, because, and you're out on those fields every weekend in the summer too, where, what's that first really hot weekend and the adjustment to that going to be? Because I know a couple weeks ago it was 80 degrees and it felt like 100. And, I got in the car and I was like, man, it was only like 78 outside. So hopefully it warms up here over the next couple of weeks. I know we had good weather yesterday.
Bill, what do these next couple of months look like for you? Well, you're up in the morning here early talking to us, and I'm sure you've got calls you make and things like that. But I'm sure, obviously your reporting life slows down quite a bit for at least. Granted, you'll make up for it as soon as we get to that the mid-August point. But are there like a list of calls of people you're making today? Are you doing research? What is your day look, or is it just basically almost a damn day off for you, which is well deserved?
Well, today I'll be working and finishing up. We're doing a couple pieces on the SEC schedule and the Big Ten schedule, and I do those every year. We call them, tentpole content that, the Big Ten schedule, looking at it, by the way, Wisconsin has a really tough schedule this year, and that's one to keep in mind. And then Florida and the SEC. I don't know who's made their schedule the last 2 years, but they should probably find somebody else to do it. And then, we have some enterprise projects we're working on. I can tell you we've got a Michael Jordan, LeBron James thing coming down the line, of course, like everybody else. But we're taking a couple different spins on that. So I'll be working on that this week as well. And, whatever comes up from there. But, yeah, like you said, it's a little bit different than in the season when, every day, every hour, every minute's almost accounted for.
So as you look at this moving forward, Bill, and we're talking, like you said, Wisconsin's got a difficult schedule, Florida, you talked to some other teams, and there's some people that have been clamoring for like a central scheduling agency, like, and they talked about this college football commission or whatever it is to do some sort of scheduling. Do you like the fact that teams get to kind of, some of it obviously is due, within conference of who you're playing, and some of that's going to now be subjective to the fact of like who rotates in and out of your conference scheduling, because the conferences are so big. But the fact that you get to independently schedule and like choose your own destiny, do you still like that part of college football, and is that something you'd like to see maintained?
Well, Greg Sankey was talking about the scheduling metrics last week, and are you scheduling to make a tough schedule, or are you scheduling not to lose? And he had a point there. So are we still going to measure playoff teams by not losing 3 games? There hasn't been an at-large 3-loss team. And he was kind of passive-aggressive about that because he was taking shots at Indiana, essentially. But when I look at the Big Ten schedules this year, for example, part of the reason why we're picking Illinois as a sleeper is, the way I look at it, Bobby, is I'll go through each schedule. How many teams are you playing that are ranked? That's the first thing I look at. Okay, are those games at home or are they away? Well, Illinois has 1 game against a ranked opponent, and it's Ohio State at home. So, that works both ways. Like, Illinois could easily go 11-1 like Indiana did, or, but if they do, we're going to complain about their strength of schedule.
But, and this is what's interesting is, Sankey was quick to pick that up. But if you look at, Ole Miss's schedule, they played LSU and they played LSU, and I want to say they had Georgia. And those were their two ranked teams that they played all year. And, their non-conference is Wake Forest and, teams similar to that, Furman, Middle Tennessee State. And so, it cuts both ways, and he never wants to acknowledge that as he talks about, Bill, as they passed out the packet, that what the headline had in there, the gauntlet.
Right. Well, and it ignores that, for example, Ole Miss got beat and played mostly terrible against Kentucky. And, Alabama, they went down to Oklahoma. I forgave that one a little bit because I know Oklahoma's a tough place to play. And people will say, are you serious? They were 6-7. Well, they're 15-4 at home under Venables. So that's not an easy place to play. That was a little more forgivable than losing to Kentucky. And then South Carolina had bad loss in there as well. They had a couple duds last season too. So they do conveniently that, whereas Indiana didn't have a dud last year. You can complain about their strength of schedule. They played the teams in front of them, and they lost to Ohio State on the road. And that was the difference to me, is like anybody that was saying Indiana didn't really deserve to be in, I didn't necessarily agree. I didn't think their schedule helped them, though, because when they got in that Notre Dame game, there was a clear difference between those two teams.
Bill, do you think in your lifetime we will have a bigger playoff than 16 teams in college football?
I hope not. I hope we stop at 16. I don't know that we need to go to 24 or 32, but you know how this works. Like, once we expand, talk about the next one. I mean, we're already skipping through 14, which was a number that a lot of people were talking about, and we're to 16. I really don't see a need to go past 16, because then you're really saying the regular season just doesn't matter. You could win 8 games and you're in. And I know the FCS and the Division III and Division II have more teams than that, but I think at that level, it's just different than the FBS. Plus, you're asking these FBS guys to play more games. With the play-in game model, I mean, potentially a team would have to play 18 games to win a national title. Did anybody ask the players if they want to do that?
Which is very interesting, as you mentioned, and bring that up. And do you think, is 16 the sweet spot for you? Because the one thing that college football has is the uniqueness, Bill, of their ability that the regular season matters. Like, we watch college football all year long, and every game every big game on a Saturday, or even a game that we didn't perceive to be a big game, feels like a huge upset is just cataclysmic for your season and your postseason hopes. The 16 teams in the playoffs still give you that feeling of most of these games still matter a lot.
Yeah, it cuts both ways like anything else. It's different than in the past where, you would have, I remember in the 14 playoff era, there was a Saturday where Washington, Clemson, and Michigan were all ranked in the, those top 4 spots, and all 3 of them lost. It ended up not mattering because Washington and Clemson went to the playoff anyway. Clemson lost to Pitt that day. I just, for some reason, remember that Kenny Pickett had a game of his life type deal. Or no, it was Nate Peterman. I'm sorry.
Don't besmirch the great Nate Peterman.
He had a great game. But the point is, I remember that day pretty clearly. I think Washington lost to USC, Michigan loses to Iowa, and then we thought it shook up the playoff race. The good thing about going to 16, and I'm starting to come around on it a little bit, November was pretty awesome because every Saturday there was 10 to 15 games that mattered to the conference standings, that mattered to the playoff race, and that's probably better than 4 if you accept that, hey, the elite, the exclusive feel of college football, where I always thought, having 4, I like the 14 playoff era. I think the 14 playoff era would have been better if we would not have got so much Alabama-Clemson. You know what I mean? Because that became a little tired.
Bill, just so you know, when we talk next week, it'll be 75 days till the start of college football. So make sure you go out and enjoy the next 7, buddy. We'll talk next week.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a great week.
That was Bill Benner for the Sporting News joining us right there. Make sure you stick around. He's coming up next. We've got
so chipper for 6:20 in the morning.
Me or him?
Him.
I am too. I mean, I'm chipper also.
Yeah, but Bill,
Look, I know.
I expect you to be chipper.
When I worked for the Dispatch, the summer was like always, for like high school sports and things like that, college sports, it was a much slower pace, a lot less work to do. I was wondering about that about guys like Bender. Not that he's not out there working his butt off, but still, like this has got to be an enjoyable, maybe not a 50-hour work week for the next few weeks. Maybe
I would say it's harder work because there's less things to cover. You have to get your creative juices flowing.
You do. He mentioned what he called them, tent poles. We call them like evergreen topics that that you write about every year with the scheduling coming out. All right, coming up next in the quick hitters, Cooper Flagg. Man, where do you hear this number, Bobby, about Cooper Flagg in college? We'll do that next. Morning Juice.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. I mean, it was, we had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, the knowledge accumulated and shared, with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Together, we will make cures possible for every child everywhere. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Okay, let's go. Top row.
EYECARE?
Good. Next row.
AM America? iCareAmerica.org?
Yes. Eye Care America helps seniors who haven't had a medical eye exam in 3 or more years. They also help those with an increased risk for glaucoma, and the appointment is often free or at no out-of-pocket cost. It's easy to see if you qualify. Go to EYECareAmerica.org.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
When it comes to prostate cancer, go to pcf.org for the help you need to navigate this disease and make the right decisions for yourself. Go to pcf.org today.
Day 1, the hardest day, the day you hear.
This is a type of blood cancer.
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Tito invited the new Russian family who moved in down the street to watch Rocky IV. It did not go well. I must break you. This is Morning Juice.
It is Morning Juice. Thank you to Bill Bender for joining us every week. Love talking to him. He's got the insight, got the scoop. And as Bobby said, he's always chipper, which is true. Not always easy to be chipper, especially on a Monday, Bobby.
What does that have to do with anything?
Monday has a lot to do. Come off the weekend. I'm saying it's,
What do you do on Sunday that's different than what you would do
first
on...
of all, let's not...
I'm just asking a question. What would you do on Sunday that would be different than what you would do on a Wednesday?
What would I do on Sunday? You're going to hear what I did on Sunday in What's Got You Juiced. That will probably surprise both you and Shark. and the tens of listeners out there.
Would you?
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna
fall into a mile.
I'm not
something?
gonna. I'm just saying I did something yesterday that you guys would be like, wow, Tito. So let's do this.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Oh, Sharky. Let's get that mic going there. Wow. I'm telling you, this guy does not freaking care, Bobby.
No,
he doesn't.
He's mailing it in.
I know he is. Mark the Shark's already dead. Mark Howell showed up today for work.
ABC is carrying the NBA Finals, so Saturday's Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and Knicks marked the end of TNT's NBA coverage, which also meant the end of TNT's Inside the NBA. The show is moving to ESPN next season. And Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and Charles went out with a bang on TNT. Shaq said, quote, "To that new network we're coming to, we're not coming to F around." Use the letter F. And then he said, "You know what? Since it's our last show, I'll go ahead and say it. We're not coming to F around."
Dropped a full F-bomb.
Yes, he did.
For him.
Yeah, this time he didn't just say F. And then he said, "We're kicking ass, we're taking names, we're taking over." Kenny followed with his own F-bomb. Tito, it sounds like these boys may cause little problems at their new network.
No, listen. Literally, I think Pat McAfee said, "Hold my beer." The fact that McAfee does what he does, and I think it's great what McAfee does. I love what McAfee does. I think it's interesting and new and fresh and no rules. And they're going to do the same thing here. But what I didn't understand, though, Shark, is that there's all this big uproar and sadness about, it's dying, it's done. These guys aren't going to, and they're all going to be doing the show still. So it's just changing networks. It's still produced by TNT. They acted like
it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, TNT's still going to produce all that's going to be on ESPN. It'll still be the same studio and everything.
Are you sure?
The fact you guys questioned me the way you did makes me not as sure, but I was pretty sure that's what it was. Yes,
Who told you that?
I read it in the article. I read an article.
I read it in an article.
I read it on The Athletic about the story about this. I read it on Yahoo, but it was
So that's produced out of Atlanta, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's still going to be.
I didn't realize that it's not taking over for Stephen A. and all that.
It's not.
For the pregame and postgame. I don't know when that show is going to run inside the NBA.
Even though the name changes, the engine stays the same, O'Neill said. That's part of it. And, yeah, it's still going to be produced there in Atlanta.
That's not what that's not what Shaq said.
What did Shaq say?
I don't know. You just told me.
Shaq said it's the same. The name changes because it's not on TNT. It's not on TNT. It's going on ESPN.
Yeah.
But the engine stays the same, is what he said. ESPN got the obviously got the rights inside the NBA, but it will carry on. And it won't be on TNT anymore, though. They, I'll look at the rest. But yeah, I think there's still everything is still.
If you're going to say this as a statement of fact, you have to produce to me.
I'm trying to find
a quote
it now.
that says TNT will still produce it and subcontract it to ESPN.
TNT will continue to independently produce inside the NBA.
Okay. That's what I was
TNT
looking
Sports
for.
will continue to independently produce inside the NBA from its Atlanta-based studios over the term of the agreement. ESPN's announcement from November read. So it's still going to be produced by TNT Studios, and that's the reason I think Ernie is sticking around because he said he's not
going to ESPN.
Right. Even though the show will be on ESPN.
Guys don't want to do it.
No.
And so that's probably the only way that they could get that done.
Yes.
Is to do that, which is how McAfee's show is as well. Like he produces it and they sub it, buy it off of him, and so they get to retain creative control.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so those guys, they don't want to answer to anybody at ESPN, and now they won't have to. And so the show should retain a lot of its entertaining elements, and those guys will get to do what they want when they want.
But it seems like there's a lot of sentimental stuff about it because, they're leaving TNT. But it's still the same guys. It's still produced out of TNT. I just don't. There's a big. I was going to say hullabaloo, but that would make me sound like I was about to retire. There was a big
hullabaloo.
Yeah,
Hullabaloo.
There was a big this big outpouring of affection, inside the NBA. It's not ending. It's just moving networks.
Ernie started crying on
I know
Saturday.
he did. Luke,
did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got emotional. I wasn't watching, When Shaq threw out the F-bomb, did they bleep it or was it? Did we hear it?
I think you heard it. I don't know.
Wow. Can't say that word on.
I don't think you're supposed
television. In 2023, the Southeastern Conference announced that schools would be hit with a $100,000 fine if fans rush the field. Do it twice, it's going to cost you $250,000, $500,000 for any violations after that. Now the SEC is changing its policy. Commissioner Greg Sankey announced that schools will be fined $500,000 every time fans rush the football field or basketball court. Bobby, I don't know how 50 security cops are going to prevent 50,000 people from coming out of the seats, but it sounds like
Tiananmen Square.
I did see.
There may have been a tank involved.
Yeah, they had a lot of tanks.
That's how you do it.
We're going to take tanks out to the football field,
run them down,
yeah, run them over,
mow them down.
Yeah, sounds like the SEC is going to have some nice Christmas parties.
Here's the thing: for basketball, it's not worth it because they don't make enough money to be able to burn them $500,000 for a game. But for football, you only have 8 or 9, like 7 or 8 home games. Do it anyway.
How do you prevent it?
Shoot them.
Say stop.
Shoot them.
Stop.
You
can't come on.
Just stop, or I'll say stop again.
Mow them down.
You
get that 50 cal out there, and you just mow them down as they keep running through. There's nothing better that college football would love than just watching the. I mean, we're talking about 4 dead at Kent State. Imagine like 4,000 as you just mow down the whole front 4 or 5 rows of any random stadium. I mean, I say that in jest, but
I hope
there is no way to stop it. There isn't, unless you're willing to do what I just mentioned, which nobody in this world would be willing to do.
I'm telling you, Bob, if you want to do that,
why are people against it? Just stay away from the players on the opposing team, and then everything's good.
What you do is if you're, say, fans of Michigan State, when you play Michigan in Ann Arbor, you get a group of people that are Michigan State fans, wear Michigan clothing, and rush the field.
Yes.
Hit them in the pocketbook.
You are a communist, so you would
No, it's not a communist. That's guerrilla warfare. That's a great tactic.
I'm not wearing the gear of an opposing team to be undercover.
How big of a fan are you? I'm just saying, you do that, though, Bobby. That right there is that's great for the cause.
Is it?
Charge the field. Charge the court.
So you're hoping
the opposing.
So you're hoping that your team loses?
No.
Or that your opposition wins, and you're going to go waste a whole day to go run out there?
Bobby,
that sounds ridiculous.
The great Brent Lalonde one time rushed the field. He rushed the field.
Is that the guy that hit by, what's his name?
That was Donnie Lalonde.
Oh.
The one hit by Sugar Ray Leonard.
No,
sorry.
I thought you were talking about the guy that Jack Lambert knocked out.
No, when we were at the Wisconsin game, your year you guys lost to Wisconsin up there.
There's a guy that ran on the field?
Yeah, a guy in our group went onto the field and hugged Dustin after the game. Saw Dustin on the field.
Dustin who?
Dustin Fox.
You're saying Dustin as if everybody goes.
I figured you would know. I'm talking to you. It's a casual conversation. It's you and me. The listeners it's just me and you. Anyway, he sees Dustin after the game. We can't find him.
It was the year we lost.
The year you lost, yes, in Madison.
I know, the 2003.
Yeah, and he went on the field after the game. We were trying to find him, so we had to leave. And we find him on the field. And we asked him, we said, wait, what were you doing? He said, I gave Dustin a hug, just told him it's going to be okay. And I said, I'm sure he appreciated that. I don't know, because the first guy I saw. And he says to me, the famous quote, anybody can rush the field after a win. It takes a real fan to rush the field after a loss.
Sounds like something that a drunk man would say.
A drunkard.
A drunkard.
He wasn't a drunk. He was a drunkard. Yes. 03. He rushed them. We had like a group of like 10 of us that went to the game, and we couldn't find Lala after the game.
Lala.
That was his nickname. Yeah, Lala called. And it's
why
because he was on the field.
Why did he call him Lala?
Lalonde.
Lalonde is his real name?
Yes.
He's a mover
Lalonde.
and shaker in Columbus sports.
He's like Schwarzenegger stuff. He's like his right-hand man when it comes to the Arnold.
Schwarzenegger stuff?
Yeah.
How about with the housekeeper?
No, it's not
that. You cannot believe everything you read on the internet. In fact, you probably shouldn't believe half of the stuff you read. But this came from CBSSports.com, and since we work for a CBS affiliate, I'm sure it's true. Longtime sports journalist Howard Bryant claims that Cooper Flagg had estimated NIL contracts during his one and only season at Duke that totaled $28 million.
Come on.
He got $13 million from New Balance and $15 million from Fanatics. Now, what we don't know, Tito, is if those contracts were just at Duke or if he's still getting paid ongoing, but that's a pretty good cash for a college kid.
It was Howard Bryant, the journalist, who reported on that. And, yeah, he did say some of the stuff is a longer-term deal, but he signed it while at Duke kind of thing. And so, the New Balance deal is significant. I think that expands beyond just that freshman year. But nonetheless, Bobby, you got a freshman, $28 million worth of deals. And I wonder, does that number surprise you, or does nothing surprise you about NIL anymore?
Well, if you're having a deal that pours over your college into your professional tenure, I would never recommend guys doing that.
Yeah.
Unless you have escalators in it and you get to control how it's reworked. Because you could be better. Now, Cooper Flagg, people expect him to be great. He was great, and then he's going to be the number one overall pick. But that doesn't surprise me at all, not for basketball. When you get those shoe deals and everything else, like LeBron's shoe deal was way bigger than that coming out.
It was after high school, yes.
Yeah, so my point is, why would you think that this is surprising?
Well, LeBron's deal came after he concluded his amateur career. I'm not saying there wasn't anything before that. But
so what's amateur about college basketball?
I'm saying a high school or college freshman, though, securing those kind of deals. When we hear about...
What's the difference between you're a year out of high school?
Because Cooper Flagg had not declared for a professional draft yet. LeBron already had. He had already he said, "Look, I'm not going to college. I'm going straight to the NBA." Flagg had to still play a year of college, but he had to be enrolled because of the way the rules are.
Yeah, I get
played
that.
At Duke,
so what's the difference, though?
I'm just saying I'm surprised.
He played at Duke, which I would argue that playing for Duke in college basketball is about as big as playing for the Cavs when LeBron went there in 2003.
Playing at Duke is about as big as playing for the Cavs. That's not that far off, I wouldn't think.
It's not.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, nonetheless, so it's when we
so
hear
why
about
would I be surprised about that?
Because LeBron's deal was like whatever the $100 million, whatever he signed with Nike at the time, whatever the number was. I can't remember what the exact number was. A huge deal. But at that point, though, you had guys signing big shoe deals on their way into the NBA.
Yeah.
We have not heard before any number like this for somebody in college signing this. That's the surprising part to me. Not necessarily the fact that, yes.
He's the presumptive number one overall pick.
He will be the number one pick in the draft, yes. But he did all of this before being, the surefire number one pick. He could have signed these deals before the season started and blown out his knee and not had, the kind of season he had. I just the number, when you look at what people talked about.
And LeBron could have gotten a car wreck with his stepdad, Delonte West, and
stepdad,
and had then not been able to be the player he was his rookie year.
With the numbers we heard.
I don't mean to besmirch Mr. West, because it wasn't for a couple years that he started dating.
But Delonte and Gloria never got married. It really wasn't officially his stepdad.
That's true.
But he could have been, yeah. No, it's just, you know what? It was
just had consensual relations.
It was a dude his mom hooked up with. I don't think he's alleged anymore. I don't think he's alleged anymore. Delonte West, someone who's like homeless now? Was that him too?
Yeah,
Same guy,
I think I saw him when I was leaving the station the other day on 315 and whatever. He's looking rough.
There's not a chance for a Ted Williams comeback out of Delonte West, is there?
Maybe a Lou Gehrig comeback.
No, the Ted Williams, the singer. The voice guy.
Oh,
remember he was the homeless guy who got famous there for a while?
I thought you meant where they cut Ted Williams' head off and put it where they froze him. They froze him.
No, I know Ted Williams, the homeless guy, Ted Williams, who was famous there for a hot minute with his voice.
Yeah, I saw him in the airport in Dallas.
Did you really?
Yeah. He had like 4 handlers with him. Good news is he got famous and went back to doing drugs again, I think. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't report
Allegedly.
that. I can't report on that.
Wasn't he doing like SpaghettiOs commercials or something?
SpaghettiOs.
Chef Boyardee,
I think that maybe on Dr. Phil too at one point.
He was. That's why he was in Dallas. The show
really Dr. Phil was
yes.
God, this took a turn.
Took a great turn.
I don't even know if Ted Williams is local anymore or not. I'm not sure. Oh, Bobby, where we get off the rails there. Coming up next, one of the Power 4 commissioners who isn't in the Power 2 is asking for some help in the Power 2 for his other Power 4 conferences. How about that for a tease? That's next Morning Juice.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
As we wonder why our kids are struggling, someone is getting bullied. As we discuss how to improve their mental health, someone is being harassed on social media. As we wonder why they're skipping school, someone is crying themselves to sleep. Knowing the signs is the best way to prevent bullying.
Please just leave me alone.
Learn the signs at sandyhookpromise.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, please visit goodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Proud to be your go-to sports edition.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Bobby is known as the General. Tito shops at Dollar General. This is Morning Juice.
Shark, can you confirm we're still on the air? That was a interesting first hour. Covered a lot of topics there.
I think we still are on the air.
Okay.
Looking at the YouTube chat, people are still engaged.
Somebody called us handsome, like as a group.
I don't know about
Not
that.
Hanson. Bob.
Bob. Did they ever have another hit?
You know what? They did.
They did?
What was it called?
It was a love. I think what it was now, because there was Bob. And there was this other one. Like it wasn't. I don't think it was "Where's the Love." It wasn't that one, but it was something about. It's a decent, catchy tune. I got to remember what it was called.
It's this Air Supply.
Oh no, it's not that one. Air Supply, underrated band from the '80s.
Look at Shark. Look at. You
That's
thought he's
Bob,
mailing
yes.
it in.
I'm telling you,
he's not mailing it in.
It was.
It's an American rock band.
Yes, they had. Where's the Love? That is called "Where's the Love." Is the other one.
I don't remember that one.
It's a good song. Yeah.
In our library, we have one song by Hanson.
Bob.
Sold over 16 million records.
Oh, my gosh. They were so cute.
They had a comeback, too.
They had 3 top 20 albums. I wouldn't know the other 2.
That one girl, the lead singer, was cute.
Oh, Jesus.
Which one that was? Is that Julie Hanson? Which one that was?
I think it was actually
she was fetching.
Chris Hansen, I think it was.
With a KR, though. It's that one. He
said, have a seat. If you ever walk into a home and Chris Hansen's in there, then you might be in trouble.
Listen, There's a lot of.
Do you know who Chris Hansen is?
Yes, I know who Chris Hansen is. Yeah, he was a cornerback for the Jaguars. But he, there was a, if you go in there with a 6-pack and like
a six-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade,
and some stuff printed up that you pay from the
some
internet.
prophylactics,
some
lubricants, and some Mike's Hard Lemonade, and Chris Hansen's sitting at the table saying, "Hey, why don't you have a seat, sir?
Where are you going? No, come on, let's have a talk. Let's just talk for a few minutes.
Let's have a conversation."
Just curious, though. Just curious. Are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Jesus. Oh, man. Those are some great shows.
All things considered, among boy bands and like these super stud young athletes, Hansen did okay because it's not like the Marinovich situation. You don't hear anything about Hansen being in trouble later on in life. They actually had a resurgence a few years back. They were out touring with some of those like 80s or 90s shows, whatever it is. But you never hear about them being in trouble. And they were highly successful. Underrated band.
Underrated.
I'll tell you, go back and look at Where's the Love. You talk about some heart and soul for kids that young.
I can't.
You've got to go back and watch it, Bobby. At one of the breaks, watch it. It's probably like a 2.5-minute song because that's what boy bands did. But yes, Where's the Love? It's introspective. And by the way, it still holds up today. Where's the Love? You got it. You can look for it. Where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I know where I was going. Brett Yormark. Not Hansen. He is the commissioner of the Big 12. And he says, Bobby, that the Big 10 and SEC have great responsibility when it comes to the CFP talks. He is talking about how it is important that the Big 10 and SEC, and I'm paraphrasing here, they look out for the good of the game and not just the good of themselves.
Greg Sankey wasn't feeling any of that. He goes, don't lecture me about the good of the game. He was not about the good of the game conversation. And I don't blame him and he had a good point with this. He's like, why did we need to go to 12 teams? He's like, we were fine with where we were at. I agreed to do something, and everybody thought they'd get 4. The Big 10 got 4, and they got 3. He goes, so we went from 12. He goes, we were getting always 1, a lot of times 2, in 4 teams. And then we went to 12, and we got 3. So he's like, don't lecture me about the good of the game.
But the thing is, like, Sankey's kind of, side note, Bishop Sankey, running back, right? From the Titans?
Yeah, he's a football player.
Football player, okay. I see. I always catch myself. I almost say Bishop Sankey instead of Greg Sankey. Anyway.
I think they're related.
I think they are, too. I think it's like the Delonte West thing. But he, Sankey.
Do you think Delonte West is related to the guys from Go West?
No, but he is related to Kool Moe Dee from Wild Wild West. Okay. Yes, Wild Wild West was a Kool Moe Dee song from 1988, I believe, Bobby. Maybe 89. Banger also. Not Hanson banger, but banger. Anyway,
I'm still looking at Hanson's Wikipedia page. I'm trying to find out this Where is the Love
Where's
song.
the Love? Dude, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Sankey's kind of backed off, though, that auto bid thing. And I think that's what your Mark was kind of complaining about, like, the auto bid thing, we should do. And Sankey has backed off of that. And I think part of it is because Sankey knows if they go to auto bids, it's going to force them to play tougher schedules. If you don't have auto bid, then it makes sense for the SEC to stay at an 8-game schedule. If you're not going to do auto bids, okay, staying at an 8-game schedule makes sense for the SEC. Because you're guaranteed, no matter how weak the rest of your schedule is, you're going to get 4 teams in at least.
Because they had the gauntlet.
Right. But I'm saying, like, you're not forced to play 9 games then at that point in the conference.
Well, there's talk of the expansion and different things, and like if they're going to do the scheduling partnership with the Big Ten, have that they would be going to 9 games. And so that would be independent of how the CFP is going to work.
No, but I think the CFP stays at just the 5+11 concept.
Yeah.
Okay. You can make the argument.
It wouldn't stay at that. That would be what it would be.
Well, I'm saying if that's what they moved to 5+11, they do that. Yeah. You could make the argument that, look, we don't need to play 9 conference games. We're getting 4 in no matter what, at least 4. So let's maybe, but if they, and maybe we'll be the Big Ten SEC partnership as far as scheduling goes. But if you go to the 4 automatic bids, then I think people would say, wait, let's everyone play the same amount of conference games then. Let's have the Big Ten and all that play the same.
Why who is they?
Well, I would think there's a push.
Who is going to put the push on him? Do you think he cares about any of this stuff?
No, I think that the rest of college football, and you're right, probably doesn't care about that. I agree with you. But my point I was trying to make, though, Bobby, was that Yormark is making this statement, and he should shut up because the SEC, from what Sankey was saying from the meetings, is not necessarily pushing for this 4-4-2-2-1 format.
So it's what's interesting listening to this is where that is coming from. Is it more Tony Petitti, the chairman, the commissioner of the Big Ten? Because I made the argument when they were talking about this, like if I'm the SEC, like, why would I want to push this? Like you would get at least 4 teams in most years. Now this year they didn't.
Right.
Everybody thought they would, but I'm like there's a good chance you're going to get more than 4 teams in.
Right.
And if the auto bid thing, like it just muddies the water and it just makes it ugly and weird. So why don't you just do the 5 plus 11 and there's a good chance you'll get 4 most years, 5 some years, and hell, maybe even 6. I don't know.
Right.
But if you give like the auto bid thing makes it weird and uncomfortable for people. And I don't like it either. I thought it's weird because you have the push and pull here. Where Bo was talking about this last week, where it seems like maybe people in the administrations want the auto bids because it's easier to forecast revenues and understand what's going on. But the coaches, like they asked the coaches in the SEC, they're like, dude, let's just do the 5 plus 11.
Right.
Like we're fine. We'll be good. Like coaches are competitive. We'll be fine. We'll be good. But it seems like the administrations on the other side, they're the ones pushing more for this 4-4-2-2-1-3 or whatever the hell we're
4-4-2-2-1, and that'd be what? That's 13, 4, 8, 12, 13, then 3 other.
Then three at large.
Right. But doesn't this come across so? And we know that the Big Ten and SEC are the power conferences, the power 2 among the power 4. But doesn't this come across as sounding weak by Yormark in the Big 12?
Well, because they have no other levers. What are they supposed to do?
But I'm saying don't even say anything. Like, just don't make that comment that, look, we need the Big Ten and SEC to do what's best for college football. Like, why even say that? It looks weak.
It does, especially after Greg Sankey came out and he's like, don't lecture me on what's best for college football. Like, I get Yormark's strategy here because he has to do what he can do. Like, and he has limited levers to be able to fix problems. Like, he's not in the Big Ten, the SEC. He's not going to be he's going to be sitting, him and John Phillips will be sitting at the kids' table while they're making these decisions.
Right.
And they'll ask them for their opinion, but their opinion only matters as much as how good it is and how much Tony and Greg actually like it. So that's his problem, is he's trying to now sway public sentiment about this.
Right.
And I get it. Because, like I said, there's nothing else he can do.
It's interesting to me, Bobby, how much the teams from the now defunct Pac-12 benefited from the conference disbanding. You know, like the conference disbanding, you got 4 teams go to the Big Ten that are in much better situations than they would be if the Pac-12 was still around.
Yeah. I mean, but 2 of them, are they in better situations?
I think financially, don't you think they're going to make more money over the course of the next 20 years in the Big Ten than they would the previous 20?
Do you know where they're at right now, though?
Oh, they're not. Yeah, I understand.
So Oregon and Washington only get a half share.
They get a much smaller,
they're
much
getting
reduced.
A half share.
They're getting less. Yes,
which is still more than what they would have gotten in the Pac-12.
Right.
Now.
That's what I'm saying. Long term, it's a better move for the teams that from the disbanded one, other than the 2 that got left out in the cold with Washington State and Oregon State.
Yes.
Like even Cal and Stanford.
Are they in better spots?
I think they are.
I don't think they are.
You don't think they're in better shape long term?
Being part of the ACC, which is a crumbling mess, which is what the Pac-12 was.
Right.
And by the way, you've got to fly 2,500 miles for most of your games. How is that good?
I think they're better off being part of the Power 4 now.
Then what's the alternative?
Than the disbanded Pac-12, the way it was trending. The way the Pac-12 was going, it was a Titanic.
Here's the problem, is that the reason the Pac-12 was crumbling, two or three reasons. Number one, they had Larry Scott as their is that his name?
We have one of those. We got the guys confused. Larry Scott was the coach at USC, right? The Vanward guy.
What was his name, Sean?
It was funny last name. It's hard to pronounce.
No, not Kliakov.
Oh, who were you talking
Before that.
Was Larry Scott?
Yeah, Larry Scott.
Who was the coach then for USC? Larry what? The one we talked about last week from Van Wert. Larry Smith. Go ahead.
Yes. So Larry Scott
Squirrel
let the conference erode.
Yes.
With terrible TV deals, and Kliakov came in and tried to save it, and he was under-equipped, and he didn't have probably the levers to get it done. But the reason that it was failing, that no one cared about it, and no one to pay for the viewership, is that there was no viewership.
Sure, right.
No one cares.
You got better things to do out west.
That's what people tell me, allegedly. But yet when Ohio State goes out there, everybody seems to go to games.
Well, sure. Ohio State people go to games.
Live in California.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But everybody tells me that no one in California cares about sports. They go, just the indigenous people there. They don't give a crap about it. Like, the people that move there.
Yeah, they do, yes.
They care.
But they don't care about USC. They don't care about UCLA. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so all like Cal and Stanford and who else? Did someone else go with them?
Cal, Stanford. No, SMU went over there from. That was different.
Their AAC. So, but like Cal and Stanford, they still have the same problems. Is that no one gives a damn about their product.
Right.
No one goes to their games. They could be ranked 10th in the country. That's where Aaron Rodgers went to college, for heaven's sake. Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Like, there's great players that have come out of there in the last 20 years, and no one cares because the people out there. And I'm not going to besmirch the people of California, but I'm going to besmirch the people of California that they don't give a damn about it. So why should I care about that?
Right.
That's my problem. I want college football to be a nationwide and inclusive event. The problem is that the people in California don't care about that. And so this is the problem, that as you go to your Friday night football games, and this is what I want for watching college football on Friday nights.
That's not my voice.
I want to say California. Gosh, I saw a stat. I want to say they had like 25 or 30. I'll have to go back. I'm going to have to pull this up. But they had less players drafted than the state of Texas and the state of Florida, which California is nearly twice the size of both of those states. And they did not have as many players drafted as either one of them. And there is no logical reason for that other than the fact that the people out there do not care.
If we had a pie chart to put down to fill out the percentage of blame for the Pac-12 dying,
the people are number one.
I would say, so you think it's geographically the population the way it is?
It's just the people.
Is number one. The people. Yeah.
The people. You ever been to California? When was the last time you were in California?
When was the last time I was in California? It probably would have been 15.
You went out you went out to Oregon. You went out
to Oregon. Yeah, I went to Oregon.
Those are the same people. Now, the people in Oregon and Washington are the same people, but yet they care about football.
Oregon, I was very impressed with how, and it was a Ohio State game, and one of the biggest games in their program's history.
They
but
sell
still,
out there. They sell
yeah,
Autzen.
It's still.
Now, granted, Autzen's like selling out Otterbein. It's 50,000 people.
Not to disparage Oregon. But
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, it was like 55,000 people. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
No, but also Oregon isn't the size of Ohio, so I get that.
Yes.
But Oregon, like Washington, sells out their stadium. People care about it up there. But someone had told me when I started, like, it was probably like 2019, 2020, when all this stuff was starting to come to a head. I was talking to somebody in the media about this, and when I'd left ESPN, I was looking to do other stuff, and it's like, well, what are you talking nationally? What are you talking about? What things matter? I go, do people in the Pac-12 care? He goes, no, it's dashes. He goes, Oregon, Utah, and Washington sell their stadiums out.
Right.
Outside of that, no one gives a damn. I was like, USC. He goes, no one cares. I go, there's like 10 million people in LA, or whatever the hell it is, like 6, 7, 8 million, 9 million. And he goes, no one cares.
Okay, but why'd that change? Because in the 70s, it was like USC.
Those are your people. You tell me.
The Sharks people. No, don't do this. Not to be smart, Shark, but Shark, this is your era. No, but remember, USC was a huge deal. UCLA was a big deal too.
I don't know how big UCLA was. USC won, though.
Yes.
They were a top 5 school every year.
Right.
I think winning has a little bit to do with it. Arizona sells out the arena for basketball, not for football.
Right.
I think if you win, they'll show up.
But you have to always win. There's places where people show up when you're.
And I think that you're probably right, Tito, in the fact that the teams that joined the Big Ten are in a better situation. I don't know about the Arizona State,
in the Big
Colorado joining the Big 12. I don't know if they're any better off. They're going to be stuck in CFP purgatory like they were in the Pac-12.
All right, coming up next. The Browns quarterback said something that drew the ire. That's right, the ire. That's a good Monday word of a former teammate. We'll do that next Morning Juice.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Bobby knows what it's like to be a winner. Tito knows what it's like to be thrown out of an all-you-can-eat buffet.
You're here 4 hours.
This is Morning Juice.
Bobby gave us a backhanded compliment there, Shark.
I didn't give you any compliment. It's not backhanded or fronthanded. You just told me your hypothesis of why people aren't watching sports in California is due to the fact that there's more streaming options that you can watch TV, quote, outside.
Than there were back then.
That was the hypothesis.
All I said was there are more entertainment options.
And then I said,
plus
like there's
weather.
not in Ohio, plus weather.
Okay,
weather has been the same in California since Jesus was a boy.
When you
all right, since Moby Dick was a minnow, And then you tried to lop on that, going down that path of saying there's streaming options, which is the same as there are in Ohio. And then you tried to merge them together, saying, but you can watch TV outside. As if that's the reason people don't care about college football and go to games, because they're watching they're streaming White Lotus outside.
I think
that's the answer.
I think the biggest problem with this, Bobby, is you take what I say literally.
Well, how else am I supposed to take it?
Because sometimes I start a sentence.
More of a philosophical?
It's like a Michael Scott thing. Sometimes I start a sentence.
Hope you find it along the way.
And I see where it goes. Now, my point was.
So you've actually watched The Office?
Oh, it's a classic. Listen, I watch all the classics. So until Barney Fife left, and when Don Knotts left, it wasn't the same for me. But, Bobby, my point, though, was that in the Midwest, in November, December, January, February. Hold
up. When have we been playing college football games in February? When do we play college football games in January?
Sports in general. I'm just saying sports. I'm talking about just sports in general. Now, I know college football, yes. But if it's 70 degrees in L.A. in November, and it's 30 degrees in Ohio in November, I'm more likely to watch a football game in November in Ohio than I would be if I was out in California.
So hold on. Under this premise.
Yes.
Because it's not just at-home viewing, it's in-person viewing.
Sure.
So you're telling me that I've been told it's been too cold to have night games in December and everything else, which the Tennessee game was packed, Michigan packed.
Sure.
The people are willing to bundle up and go to a game outside and sit out there and endure 4 to 6 hours of cold weather and traffic in Ohio than people are more willing to hop in the back of a rickshaw and drive down to USC in the middle of November when the weather is 70 degrees and nice outside.
Yeah, because it gets really cold in Baton Rouge and Gainesville and Tuscaloosa, and somehow they still show up.
We're used to it here. People, listen, if there was a blizzard in California, how many people go to the USC game?
When was the last time there was a blizzard
I'm saying,
in
okay, it's a blizzard in USC. How many people go to the game? If there's a blizzard in Columbus, people will go and die.
I've never seen it snow in Southern California.
I'm not saying that's my whole point, Bobby. If it snowed, if there was a blizzard in California, what do you think that tends to be at the Coliseum for UCLA game?
I might have to put this down. June 3rd or June 2nd, 2025.
The 3rd somewhere.
For Today in History, for Jeff Thidoff's worst take of all time.
I had a great take
and
earlier.
You've had some bad ones.
I had a great take earlier.
But you trying to die on this hill about why people don't watch football out west, and then we keep talking about the weather, and as if that's the reason. It's just the people are weirdos. That's the answer. They're weirdos.
You think people are weirdos is why?
Yes. That's why. That is why. They're weirdos.
That's worse than my take, Bobby.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think there's...
Provide me an alternate theory then.
The blizzard thing I brought up was pretty good, I thought.
Blizzard. Southern California blizzards. That's, you know what, Shark... I want you to workshop this. Next year, when in 1 month, when you're going to Bob Evans every morning at 9:30 and talking and having
9:30, 6:30. What are you talking about?
Get up and do
that. Because I got to be at the MCL at 4:30 in the afternoon.
By the way, my neighbor, they had our old neighbors. They had their youngest son just graduated high school, and this was the first old person moment that I've had. When we moved in across the street from them, their son was getting ready to enter kindergarten, and now he just graduated.
Wow!
And so he's like, I've got to watch him. I've got to watch him grow up his entirety of his life, and seeing all that was crazy. I don't even know where the hell I was going with this.
I don't either.
Oh,
but
they had
something
cake.
about the MCL.
They had cake. They had cake. Their graduation cakes, and they were really good. And you know where they got them catered from? MCL Cafeteria.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was talking.
Why didn't they just have the graduation party at the MCL
So it's
Cafeteria?
amazing.
Start at 5 o'clock, place is empty.
The other, well, that's
No,
that's
it's
true.
full at 5.
It's full at 5.
These
By
people are checking out, though.
6:37, they're going to meet the Queen. They got to meet the Queen for tea at 6. So they're on their way out of there.
What's the ambulance doing out there again?
They have any pudding catered in from MCL?
So this is what's amazing is my
Cottage
neighbor I'm
cheese.
talking to, he goes, he had gone there in the last, he goes, why didn't we just do it there? He goes, they got the all-you-can-eat pudding bar. He goes, that's amazing.
Pudding bar.
He called it the pudding bar.
They don't have a salad bar. They got a pudding bar.
They got the pudding bar. How great is that?
Butterscotch.
Who left their teeth in the pudding bar?
He goes, that's great, but his wife was saying, she goes, it's underrated. He goes, I went to a party last year. He's like, this is great cake. And then he's like, hey, it's MCL. And I'm like,
That's
I go, it was damn good cake. It was nice and moist. It was fluffy. It had everything you wanted. The cream cheese frosting was elite. And I'm like, that is unreal. MCL Cafeteria. And that's when then her husband jumped in of why didn't we just do it there with the all-you-can-eat pudding bar?
Rimmer's middle half says cube Jello. That's another good one there.
Yes.
Oh,
Cube
yeah.
Jello.
I just typed in.
Do you like fruit in your Jello or not, Sharky?
Yes, I
No.
do. Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an old guy thing.
So you're the one?
No.
Yeah,
You like-
I like the bananas in my cherry Jello.
No,
Whatever.
I don't like the bananas. I do like the pears. The cubed pears.
Come on.
Yes.
I don't.
Because you know what's more?
man.
Nothing's more natural than a cube-shaped pear.
Do you know what the
Cube pear bits.
MCL means?
Okay,
what
so
that
we
stands
got
for?
to that last
Oh,
night.
you
I go,
did.
I used
This
to.
sounds like a banger party.
But that's what I go, what does it stand for? He's like, hell, I don't know. And like,
Well, I just Googled it. What does MCL stand for?
modern cafeteria lifestyle or something.
Midwest
No.
Catholic League.
Medial collateral ligament.
Well, yeah, that's what I know that. MCL
You say I
doesn't.
tore my cafeteria.
I tore my cafeteria.
Serious, Bobby.
But good
how
cake,
do you get?
good cake.
Wait, you're at a graduation party and it turns into what does MCL stand for?
Yeah, because they got the
that's
cake from there.
But that's a bad party. What,
Oh,
did you guys,
no. Their
did you guys
parties
move on
are-
from Sonny and Cher's greatest
Their
hits?
parties are elite.
It's a thing. I didn't
Okay.
even realize it's MCL Restaurant and Bakery
Yes,
in Upper
bakery.
Arlington.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
There's only I think that's the only one left in the country. They used to be all over the place. My dad told me that they went to the one in Houston. He's like, yeah, there was one down the street from us in Houston. I'm like, but I looked at them. I think they have almost all closed except for the one in UA.
Shadow of Shoe says it stands for Medicare Lounge, MCL.
Yes.
It's great. One of my good friends, his wife, he met her. She grew up in Virginia, but her she went to OU, and her dad played baseball at OU. I think he played Schmidt there. But he played baseball at OU, and he's from. I think he went to Upper Arlington. His mom lived there. And she goes, she hates MCL with the fire of 1,000 suns because when she would come back and have to go see her grandma,
right.
She's like, we always went to MCL cafeteria. And as like a 6-year-old, you're going there. She's like, outside of the all-you-can-eat pudding bar, that was great, but it was just old people all the time.
Sure.
And the rest of the food wasn't that good. And I'm like, I've never been there. And then
You've never been to an MCL?
I've never been to MCL. I've walked by it 1,000 times. So what's ironic that off is my third son, Cullen, who you define as your favorite.
He's a favorite Carpenter. The best by far.
He goes, I was going to go to a third watch for breakfast or for like a brunch
First watch.
or breakfast.
The third watch is their second.
First watch. Third watch is the show.
Right.
First watch is the
Getting
place.
old, Bobby. Getting
He
old,
goes,
Bobby.
100%. Listen, I told you, dude, I'm worth more dead than alive. I'm like Jimmy Stewart. And he goes, we were going there with his friend to go get like brunch or something. I don't know, breakfast, whatever it was. He goes, and it was an hour wait. I go, yeah, dude, it was Saturday at like 9 o'clock. He goes, so we went to this place down the street from there. It was great. And I go, the Mexican place? He goes, no, it was like going to a school lunch. He goes, you got to get a tray.
Cafeteria.
And I go, you went to MCL? You and your friend? I go, you had to drop the average age in there by 20 years. I go, 2 10, 11-year-old boys going into MCL cafeteria.
Is it a buffet or not?
You know, it's like
it's a cafeteria.
You go there and you have like a tray and
Yes.
you put stuff on it, right?
Put your fried chicken on there,
Okay,
your
but you
mashed
know,
potatoes.
but it's not a buffet then.
It's referred to as a la carte.
Okay, but I'm saying like
I'm on their website right now. You can have your wedding catered by
Hmm.
MCL. You know, for $19.99, you can get a whole pie that serves 6 to 8 people.
What's amazing, Shark, is you didn't realize this. Your retirement party's there in a month.
Yeah, exactly.
The old
It's going to be
Duff's.
the best.
You remember Duff's, Shark?
Oh, yeah.
The one at Graceland.
It's like $4.95, and it's like pigs eating in a trough.
Right.
I mean.
But listen, though, the idea they have for the one at Graceland would do well in MCL. Bobby, because what they did, listen,
pigs eating in a trough.
It was a buffet, but it wasn't you walk up and down the aisle. It wasn't that. The one at Graceland,
it was
you
on a
stood in a
belt.
spot.
Yes.
And it was a circuit that would go around.
Oh, my gosh.
You would find your spot.
I mean,
that'd be great at the MCL, though.
How morbidly obese are we as a country? Where you don't even have to go to the food. The food just comes to you.
You go there, you stay in the spot, and then the thing just spins. If I missed the chicken. Hang on, I'll be back around here in a couple minutes.
Why don't they just design something that's like a giant circle that you walk into, and you sit, and you can just pull the food off
right at your table.
That's what it was.
You don't even have to move.
Yeah,
That's
like
what it
that
was.
belt goes all the way around
all the way
the
the whole restaurant there.
Imagine kind of like
You're onto something, Bob.
You getting your checked luggage, except your checked luggage is food. And it just keeps spinning around, and you're eating there. You don't even have to move.
Now,
why don't they hook you up with a catheter while you're sitting there, so you can and put a bedpan under you, so you can take a dump in a leak when you need to.
For catering your wedding, the beverages are sweet tea,
Milk.
unsweet tea,
Warm milk.
$5.95 a half gallon, or lemonade, $5.95 a half gallon,
or Metamucil. Okay, this was not intentional. But we do have a Flacco story. We're talking about MCL stuff. I'm going to play this real quick, Bobby. Here's a cut from Joe Flacco. God, we're going to do it quick, too. Asked about being a mentor. And Shark's got to turn my mic.
It's on.
Okay, I'm playing it. Nothing's happening here.
What?
You want to play it?
I've got you up. Now I got to go find it. Could you give me a number real
Sure.
quick?
It is
17468
45624.
49731.
45624. Here's Flacco being asked about being a mentor.
Because it's a good question to bait somebody into answering, and no matter how they answer it, it kind of makes the guy that's answering it look bad. If I say I don't want to be a mentor, I look bad. If I say I do want to be a mentor, then I look like an idiot that doesn't care about being good and playing football. So it's one of those questions that no matter what I say, you guys can write what you want to write about it. And there's a lot of questions like that. That's why you end up having to try to avoid them. I tend to try to be honest, and I've said I'm not a mentor. I play football. And in a quarterback room, there's a lot of times there's been a ton of times where there's learning experiences, and I have a lot of experience, and I can talk on things, and hopefully they listen. But it's not necessarily like my job to like make sure they listen to me. And hey, like hopefully you have a really good relationship with the guys that are in the room, and you naturally want to do that, But that was a long-winded answer, but that's ultimately why I think you guys ask it,
His former teammate Chris Canty said on ESPN's Unsportsmanlike, mentoring a young player is only going to make that player better, which makes the team better. You're only as strong as your weakest link. The whole point of the exercise is that everybody makes everyone better. That's why you practice. You're making each other better. It's what you're supposed to do. You do that with the reps on the practice field, but you also do that by sharing points and notes in the film room. It's a ridiculous answer from Joe Flacco. There's no guarantee Joe Flacco is going to be healthy for 17 games, especially at 40 years old. So he said that he disagrees vehemently with Flacco's assertion that, hey, I'm not a mentor. I'm just, I'm here to play football, and if you say it, and I understand what Flacco's saying.
I thought Joe's answer was great.
I thought it was fine, too. I was okay with it.
I think it was great. My job isn't to come in here and mentor, because that's saying I don't care about being good. My job is to play football and to share my experiences, and if there's times to give them nuggets and to help them, then yeah, that's part of it. Which plays into what Chris is saying. It makes the team better, and it's better for everybody. But that's not my primary role. My primary role is to be as good as I can be with everything. And so I think that that's a very important component of all that. And then if there's learning moments that I can share with them, you know what? Then you do that. And I think that that's very important. But that's not my primary role. And it's not my job to make sure they listen. It's my job to share.
Right.
I thought that was as good an answer as you would ever find. It was a very Bill Belichick surly old man answer, which was tremendous. But yeah, I think that's real.
I think it's why the written word is much different than the spoken word. Because when I read that, I thought, man, that's a bad attitude, but when you listen to Flacco actually say it, I thought it was a great answer.
Yeah,
and maybe Chris Canty only read it and didn't hear it.
That could be.
What I mean?
That could be, yes. And so that's the interesting part. Yes, if you admit that you're a mentor, I'm sure a mentor, then it's like, and this is not to besmirch anybody at Ohio State, but when you get that fifth-year quarterback at Ohio State who comes in at the very end, who's had a career at Houston Baptist, wherever it was, I mean, guys like that, they're coming in to not necessarily be mentor, but to learn how to the next
bricklayer.
Yeah, bricklayer. He's not there to be the starting quarterback. He's not there to be the second string quarterback. He's there like the kid who was what was the other kid? Tabidi or whatever his name was last year. The guy who came in from Oregon. What was his name?
Tabidi.
What is his name? was it P. Diddy? Anyway.
I know the guy that came in from Kansas State.
Maybe that's who. Yeah, that guy was pretty good too. But no, like he came in to understand like this is
Who are you talking about?
Who was the quarterback that was on the roster last year, came in maybe 2 years ago, who wanted to be a coach?
Now we're starting to change.
No, he came in specifically talked about wanting to be a coach at some point.
Yes, that wasn't last year, though.
Okay, maybe it was 2 years ago then, Bobby. I don't know. But it had anyway, he came in with the understanding, I'm not going to be a starter. I'm not going to be the backup. I want to get ready for my next stage of my football career, which he wants to get into coaching. And if Flacco says, I'm a mentor, that's what I'm here to do, then it could come across that way as well. Like, I'm not here because I'm going to try to compete for a job. I'm here just to, I'm on the 18th hole of my career.
Fined.
That's another one too, yes. Coming up next. I don't know where we go with this. I'm scared to ask, but we're going to tell you what's got us juice. That's next Morning Juice.
I thought mixing bleach with my floor cleaner would take the stain out.
When my youngest ate the dog's medicine, that was a new one.
I was trying to protect my garden, but I accidentally sprayed myself with pesticide.
So I called 1-800-222-1222, the poison helpline.
A poison expert helped me figure out what to do next.
I was connected to someone who spoke Spanish.
They answered my questions.
It was free.
It was confidential.
It was real help in real time.
Keep the poison experts in your pocket. 1-800-222-1222.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Bobby Carpenter, husband, father, Buckeye. Jeff Thinoff, husband, father, idiot. This is Morning Juice.
All right, it's morning. Shark, that's a good thing. Yeah, Shark, that's the worst time to say it to somebody. We're coming back, and the first thing, like right before we come back, you say, I'm worried this is going to fire about the What's Got You Juice. We're going to give it a shot here now.
All right.
We'll see if it works. Here we go.
What's Got You Juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Oh, Bobby, it's what, Monday, I guess, today?
Yeah.
So let's...
what do you mean you guess?
Well, look...
That's it's a factual statement. It is Monday.
Thank you. Fair. Why don't you tell us first, Bobby, what's got you juiced?
Oh, man. What's got me juiced? Fun weekend. Went out to my neighbor, one of our good friends. Their daughter graduated, so they had their graduation party on Saturday night, which was awesome. Had a great time with that. Got a lot of yard work done. Me and my two oldest boys, we did a lot of mulching over Saturday morning. And so it was good having them. I go, man, it took about a third of the time it would have taken me to do all this, maybe half. And I'm literally half as tired for sure, maybe not even close to that, because I made them do all the grunt work. I shoveled it, we're putting it in the cart, and I pull it around. They were the ones down spreading and doing a lot of that for the most part. So it was a fun little family activity on Saturday. And then yesterday, when we moved moved to Upper Arlington, we moved the house we moved into our neighbors. Their youngest son was going into kindergarten, and he just graduated recently, and it's been awesome to watch him grow up. And that was like my first old person moment of knowing him. And I joke, you were younger than my youngest son now when we moved in here, and watching you graduate has been awesome. You've been a great role model and mentor to my kids. And it was a lot of fun. He had his buddies out there, and it was awesome kind of seeing all of this transpire, and their parties get a little wild, and they're a lot of fun. So getting a chance to do that and be over there yesterday, after I was out at the Fortress at Obetz for 7 hours.
Oh, that's right.
With some lacrosse for Cullen. And the best thing is that it was a big boys lacrosse tournament. And so when that's usually the case, AJ's always crossing paths, and him and Laura were out there. And I got a chance to watch, his three boys play. He watched Cullen play some, and we got to talk in between games. And we got to see two coaches for a first and second grade lacrosse get into a fight after the game, and it was unbelievable. And the one guy goes, "Quit talking about my wife like that." And I'm like, who are they all? It was amazing. I go, we're talking about first and second grade lacrosse. It is the lowest level of athletic competition. And we're watching this thing, and then the teams played each other later, and they had to have people, tournament staff, behind them in the cart watching the game to make sure it didn't get out of control. I mean, it was awful. The stuff it was bad. It was bad sports. And I'm like, what could we possibly be fighting about? And like, what were you saying about this guy's wives? And quit talking about the women. And I'm like, this is insanity. It was great. And watching a dude take his shirt off, I'm like, it was beautiful. AJ, I'm like, let's go gas him up. I want to see him go to blows. I go, and people are like, that's terrible. I go, if you're willing to get into a fight at a youth sporting event for 7 and 8 year olds, God bless you. I'm going to help. I'm going to be the catalyst to allow you to look like an asshole. Okay? Because if you're willing to do that over 7 and 8 year olds, you're a special human being, and I'm going to help walk you all the way there because I want to see that type of entertainment in my life. And that had me juiced up yesterday, Shark. It was awesome. I mean, they could hardly pick the ball up off the ground. They couldn't complete a pass.
Of course.
I go, this is brutal. What are you fighting about? What could you possibly, and by the way, there's 4 teams here in your age group. What are you getting? Some sort of, this isn't the NBA Finals, man. This isn't a national championship. What are we arguing about? It was awesome. And so AJ and I, and AJ's back is jacked up, watching him walk around, Shark. Courtney goes, is that AJ coming up over here? I go, I don't know. Is it?
Was he shuffling?
Oh, he was walking. I mean, it was him walking, he was swinging one leg wide. I'm like, It kind of looks like AJ, but he's walking worse than my dad. Like, what is this?
Chafing thing?
Oh, no, because his back was so jacked up. It was amazing. He's like, yeah, got a bit of a situation. He goes, hurts to walk, hurts even worse to stand, and sitting's really kind of in between. But like he dropped something and watching him have to split squat. I go, dude, I can pick it up for you. And he's like, yeah, we're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot. I'm like, I go, here. I tell the guys at Ohio State this, and I joke with them. I go, here's the good news. Like Lathan Ransom, his foot's all, he's had a foot issue, and he battled through a bunch of stuff this year. And I go, here's the good news, Lathan. You're 22, 23 years old. The best your foot's going to feel is right now. Because I go, there'll be a day when you wake up and you're 40 and you're going to take 3 steps and fall to the ground in your bedroom. And it's going to be embarrassing and terrible, but that's what you have to look forward to. And all that has me juiced. Shark.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Schleggs and a bunch of his nonsense yesterday. What's he got to say?
I've killed over 700 pigs in my life. I've killed 12 pigs in a night and then catch a bunch of blue cats and go to downtown Fort Worth, feed 600 people. It was awesome. I mean, that was like every other weekend. And it was also kind of my conditioning because back then in the early 2000s, I didn't have a four-wheeler. So we just backpacked them out of there. Should have been working on more hip mobility back then, but whatever.
Oh my gosh.
12 killed 12 blue cats.
In one night.
Do you know what a blue cat is, Thuff?
Yeah, I think it's one that's probably got paint spilled on it.
I want you to ask Schleggs tomorrow what a blue cat is.
I'm afraid to get the answer to us. No, because I'm going to get set up for something here.
What do you think? He's going to jump through the mic and hurt you?
I don't know. All right, I'll ask about the blue cat.
Do you guys carry an umbrella in your car?
No.
My wife has both of them.
I lost probably 4 umbrellas in 5 days in Ohio State. And my mom, she goes, you can't take, I would just leave them in class because then when you leave, it's not raining and they would just stay there. And my wife, when we started dating, one of her boyfriends played baseball. I'm like, dude, your boyfriend just walks to class in the rain. Like no umbrella, no raincoat. I'm like, yeah, like I'm going to get wet. I'm walking a mile. Me running isn't going to make it any better. And she's like, why don't you carry an umbrella? So she would get, I just lose them. So I don't walk any faster than I normally would. I just eat the rain and eat the turd. So, no, I don't carry umbrellas.
I was eating that
They're free at restaurants.
At the Fortress at Muirfield Village on Friday. I left here and went straight to the golf course.
It was terrible.
It rained
Courtney
all day.
declined. We didn't go out. I go, you ready to go? She's like, do we have to? I'm like, I thought I was going to stop at noon. That's when it was originally supposed to. And then that morning it changed, and it was going to rain all day. I was like, she goes, I don't want to go. And I'm like, I don't want to go by myself.
It's a mess. And you know what the A-lot's like when it rains.
Oh, it's a mud pit.
Yeah.
So, it reminds me of that scene out of Stripes.
A little bit, yeah.
But
I've
just
run
without,
that course.
But without the naked chicks wrestling.
So I went up there and I put on a pair of old Asics that had no tread because I knew my shoes were going to get muddy on the golf course. And I didn't have an umbrella, and it's raining. I mean, at some time... They never stopped the tournament.
No.
They played in the rain.
It wasn't hard rain.
It was never got really hard, but it was steady the whole day.
Just brutal.
So I went into the gift shop and I thought, okay, I don't have an umbrella. I'm going to get a hat. $39 for a hat.
That's
about right.
I think they're giving them away.
I'll just get wet. And that's
you
what
didn't
I
see
did.
AJ, these kids out there with ponchos?
But I was walking like AJ because, it's in Central Ohio, it's not hilly. Up there at Muirfield Village, very hilly. So I'm walking gingerly on the cart paths.
There was a song about that, something about walking on broken glass.
Walking on broken glass, or walk like an Egyptian.
Or walking on sunshine.
Walking on sunshine.
Treating the waves.
Anyway, Scottie won his 16th tournament yesterday, PGA Tour event, and he's won all 16 in a span of 3 years. 3 months and 19 days. All right? That is just 16 days fewer than it took Tiger Woods to win his first 16.
That's amazing.
1 month, 27 days less than it took Jack Nicklaus to win his first 16. The quickest to get to 16 PGA Tour victories was a guy by the name of Sam Snead, who did it in 2 years, 6 months, and 1 day. That's pretty good. Anyway,
what's he up to?
He is he's visiting the Queen, as they say. If you were with us at the beginning of the show, you know what that means.
As they say. I want you to say as we say.
As they say, it's a good one.
Scheffler has played in the Memorial 5 times. He finished 22nd in 2020. That's because there were no fans there. That was the first tournament back, remember, from COVID.
Sure.
And there was no gallery back then. But anyway, he missed the 2022 Memorial. But in his last 4 appearances at Muirfield Village, he has finished third, win. I think he likes that course. And, of course, because it's in Columbus, Ohio, some fool at the post-game press conference had to ask him a stupid question.
Any chance we see you late August back for a football game, Texas, Ohio State, and any prediction for the game? You got to be careful with Mr. Nicholas.
No, you don't have to be careful at all. I think it'll be a pretty good football game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to be careful. You're still riding high after the, national championship. I mean, come on. Last year we actually got to go to the Cotton Bowl. That was really fun. I mean, obviously the result wasn't what I hoped that it would be, but I mean, it was really cool to see that environment and enjoy the game. Gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to do tomorrow, let alone in August, but I'll definitely be watching on TV at the very least.
There you have it. Scottie, Texas Longhorn. Tito, Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yes. My son's soccer game this weekend, he scored a goal and had 2 assists. They tied 3-3.
Has he got any scholarship offers yet?
No, you're working on it, though.
Jeff took his shirt off and tried to fight somebody, though.
Yes, that was lacrosse.
They tried to fight me to put my shirt back on. I reminded my son that he and I combined. He's played soccer. I think it was his 3rd season. And we've combined to score in our careers 16 goals.
Wow.
And he pointed out to me, yeah, Dad, but you only scored 2 in your 10 seasons. I've scored 14 in my... So you would not do the Hank Aaron, Tommy Aaron, or like the Griffey thing. I tried to have that moment.
You played 10 years of soccer?
5 seasons, 10 years. 10 seasons, 5 years, yeah, as a kid.
And
scored 2 goals.
No high school?
No. And then also, and I thought of you guys yesterday. I did something yesterday I think you both would be very happy and surprised to hear I did. Do you want to guess what it is?
You mowed the lawn.
Exercise.
Both. I mowed the lawn, which was exercise. Yeah, I mowed the lawn. Wife in Dallas, and it needed to get mowed like 3 days ago, but she wasn't here, and I couldn't stand to look at it much longer. And so I mowed the front. I didn't mow the back. No one sees the back. She gets home today. But I mowed the front.
That's what she said.
And I thought I was going to shoot a video of it and send it to you guys. I got the phone out and hit record, and the phone fell. And I was thinking, you know what? This isn't going to be a good idea. Because it'd be like, it would be the last video ever taken on that phone if I did that.
Unlike AJ, you couldn't pick it up.
Right. Actually, it's funny. Bobby said that. I laughed at AJ when in reality, there's a lot of times when I've been to pick something up. It's kind of a similar situation.
You got to grunt a little bit, right?
Yeah, you got to do that.
Make a noise.
If you're around the kids and you go slow enough, sometimes they'll pick it up for you, but usually not my kids. I tell you who would? Colin. Colin, if he was with me, my favorite carpenter, and I dropped something and started slowly, he would say, "Let me get that for you, Mr. Thidoff," and he would do it because that right there, salt of the earth kid.
He is good. He's a nice young man.
He really is. Folks, we appreciate all the chatting today. I know we went sideways, but those are sometimes some of the most fun shows to do. We're going to interview Sarah Spain for tomorrow. That'll be on tomorrow's show. Her new book is out tomorrow as well. But you got to check that out, too. We'll have that on the show tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. It's been Morning Juice.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American